Hey friends, this is Dolynny TV. Glad to have you aboard here this afternoon as we get the official news of the day underway here on the channel. And then I want to take a conversation from last night one step further. And we'll do that in a bit of moments here. But first, before we get too far, I will ask you up front, I'm going to be honest with you. We're closing in on 17,000 subscribers, about 67 away. So if you're new to the channel, you enjoy the content, and you haven't done that subscribe button yet, definitely consider doing that. That would be greatly appreciated. I'm not going to waste much more time on that because there are pressing matters to get to. The Oilers actually made news, roster moves today, calling up Drake Caggiula and Noah Philp. Our old friend Drake Caggiula returns and will likely take the roster spot of Derek Ryan, according to Bob Stauffer. In Thursday's game against Nashville, Bob severely hinted that would be the case on Oilers Now. And of course, you know, when Bob hints something, it's usually in a good direction. So we'll assume that Drake Caggiula is in against Nashville, as is Noah Philp, who will make his NHL debut if that is indeed the case. The Oilers, from what I understand on this front, calling up Noah Philp and Drake Caggiula, have exceeded into LTIR pool usage thanks to Evander Kane. Of course, if you kind of missed how things broke down on the opening day roster for the Edmonton Oilers, they activated Kane on the LTIR, essentially giving them, short of $83, Kane's full contract to use as a bonus pool to call up players throughout the year. So for the first time all year, the Oilers have more healthy skaters than they did on opening day. This, of course, by adding Noah Philp and Drake Caggiula, using that LTIR pool usage, and now indeed having Connor McDavid injured for what will be the next several weeks, quite honestly. In my opinion, we'll get to that more in a minute, but again, I want to stress that is in my opinion. Now, I want to go back to this. Drake Caggiula will be returning Thursday night to the Oilers lineup when he, more than likely, is how I'll put it, gets in. For the first time since 2018, I believe, if memory serves, and I'm totally looking at this from an old lens, he was traded to the Chicago Blackhawks for Brandon Manning. This is old Stan Bowman coming back to a guy he once acquired once upon a time, and then Noah Philp. But again, the other side to this story, whether we want to talk all about those dilly-dallying details, is these are two guys that were some of the last cuts at camp. Noah Philp was the last one. I think Drake Caggiula was quite honestly on waivers the same day as Raphael Lavoie, who's with Vegas now. So you get where we're going, right? These two guys made an impact on Oilers management, Oilers coaching staff. That's why they're here. The first recalls from the Bakersfield Condors all season long. Now that Connor McDavid's down and out of commission. What do we know about McDavid? Tice? Well, yeah, we're still waiting word, official word that is, on the injury. Lots of speculation today. Everything from a couple of weeks to a few weeks to who knows when. It's an ankle injury. It's this, it's that. I don't care. End of the day is, by everything I gather, watching those replays, and like I said, it's my own opinion, I'm going to tell you Connor's going to miss some time. And what we saw last night was very deeply troubling, if that is indeed the case, for the Edmonton Oilers. So let's just not worry about that too much. Let's get to this one here, because this will be the expansion of last night's conversation into what I just said, as well as today's topic. So that was your news. Let's get to this quote from Jason Strudwick talking about the Oilers' defensive struggles in last night's game to a underwhelming Columbus Blue Jackets squad in comparison to the talent known to be on the Edmonton Oilers squad, McDavid or not. So this quote from Jason Strudwick on Sports 1440 with Jason Gregor earlier today: when the Oilers get in trouble defensively, it is when they try to do other people's jobs. The number one rule in the NHL is to do your own job. Last night they had multiple goals where guys were focused on duplication, doing others' jobs, than their own. And this is, to a degree, exactly what I'm getting down to. The Oilers are too worried about the whole picture, right? It's, oh my God, we got to win. That nobody is doing anything themselves to help the team win. Well, a team game is made up of individuals. And what we have really struggled with this season in particular, and it started back in the playoffs. Last year in the playoffs, though, we had a weird trend where if we out-hit the other team, we lost the game. And if we hit less, we won the game. And hey, far be it from me to mess with the winning formula in the playoffs. That has not really been a winning formula this year. And the troubling situation here is, I believe, if you go back, and I mean, there's 10 games, so that's a lot of research on a Tuesday night after a little bit of working late. I'm going to tell you, I think the Oilers, quite honestly, have been out-hit every single game this year. And when you talk about that, it's like, well, how is that on the individuals? I think it truly comes down for the Oilers is, okay, I think everybody wants to make the excuse goaltending's bad, defense sucks, the guys are old and slow. Make all the excuses you want. You know what? That I can't form your opinion for you, but if you want to apologize, if you want to make excuses for professional athletes as to why they're not doing their job to the best of their ability, that's great. That's on you. That's not on me. If I'm being negative because I'm truthfully asking these guys to perform to their value, that again is on you, not on me. I can't make that any more simpler. So what I am really frustrated with is you're watching the Oilers in all 4 wins this year, whether you want to discredit the one against Pittsburgh or not. In all 4 wins, the Oilers have had a fight. In all 10 games, maybe only 1, maybe 9 out of 10, the Oilers have been out-hit. And quite honestly, it has been by a large margin every single game. I think last night that they had 8 hits in a 6-1. Bob Stauffer used strong language that I choose not to use on the channel, but he used on the radio, kicking by the Columbus Blue Jackets. And I'm sorry, the Columbus Blue Jackets, albeit playing great under Dean Evason, all things considered, are not a team that should be beating the Edmonton Oilers, Connor McDavid or not, 6-1. Last night was inexcusable, but throughout the duration of this season, even when this team is winning, the effort level, the work rate from this Edmonton Oilers team, and like I said, make all the excuses you want. Oh, they're hitting a lot of posts. It'll come. Oh, they're getting lots of chances, but they're not burying. It'll come. Whatever excuse you want to make it okay that these guys aren't trying their hardest for you, that's fine. That's, like I said, on you. But again, the frustrating part is these guys have so much more to give. And I don't know if it's just a mentality of, hey, we did it last year, we'll just hold back at the start of the year and then run the show from January 1st on, or whatever the case might be. Like I said, I even floated earlier this year, it's all fodder to make the next documentary for Amazon that much more watchable. I don't know. I don't care. Cut the crap. Try harder. That's all it comes down to for me. So I think if I came across or I've come across this season as negative, it is because I am frustrated beyond belief. I am irritated beyond belief that the Edmonton Oilers, year in, year out, refuse to give us their all, right? I mean, come on, guys, let's be serious. How many comments do I get a year complaining about the ticket prices at Rogers Place, the cost of beer at Rogers Place, the cost of food at Rogers Place, the expense of going to an Oilers game straight up when all things considered, and yet people out here continually want to apologize for these guys not delivering the goods game in, game out. I get it. You know what? If you win 10 in a row and you lose one, good enough. I can be okay with it. But if you are consistently not going to show up and put in a good work rate and a good work effort, sorry, it is not going to equal me saying nice things. Because at the end of the day is you got to be able to, as a professional athlete, put your best forward. And I go to work every day, same as you. And if you aren't putting your best forward every day, boss man gets on you quick. And as professional athletes, whether you want to believe it or not, the fans truly are the boss, right? You don't show up, they don't have revenue. You don't buy jerseys, they don't have revenue. You don't buy things at the concession, they don't have revenue. The owner moves cities. That's the way this works. That's the way it's traditionally always worked in sports. And to see game in, game out this season, the Oilers, yeah, okay, they've scored some goals, but they're averaging worse goals for per game than they were last year, and they had a worse record. I think it was even Brian Lawton chalking up that the Oilers, well, whether you like it or not, are kind of lucky to be 4-5-1, all things considered at this point, given how poorly they have played this season overall in context. And that comes down to, again, the effort level just has not been there. The give a damn just has not been there from this group. And folding like a tent last night when McDavid gets injured 37 seconds into his night is unacceptable. Again, I don't care if McDavid's in the lineup or not. That was not a losing game, 6-0 for the Oilers, or 6-1 for the Oilers. Sorry, I misspoke there. But that is not a game you should be losing 6-1 with McDavid out of the lineup, with Draisaitl out of the lineup. The Oilers have plenty of talent. Yeah, they might be a little older. They might be a little slower. But that doesn't mean they can't work. When Corey Perry is your best non-point scoring forward at his advanced age, and he has done as much to contribute to the Oilers' wins as anybody on this roster this year, that ought to show you exactly where you got to be this season as any player on this Oilers roster. And the fact that they continually don't meet that mark is frustrating, irritating, and if you want to make excuses for it, that's great, but I'm not being negative because you want to back these guys not giving their all for you. Friends, this is Dolynny TV. Thanks for being aboard. I am up on out of here.